The exact cause of Padme's death has long been a subject of heated controversy. Some say she died from physical trauma, the stress of giving birth, on top of having a major concussion, on top of being nearly strangled to death. Others argue that since there is no apparent cause for her death, and since Palpatine had absolutely no way to know she had died, it's obvious that he used the Force to kill her, possibly transferring her life force into Anakin, which isn't that far-fetched of an idea. But the most widely accepted explanation for her death comes from a line of dialogue the medical droid gives.
Medically, she's completely healthy. For reasons we can't explain, we are losing her. We don't know why. She has lost the will to live.
A while back, I did a character analysis of Padme, discussing how this explanation for her death is nothing but disrespectful to the character. Recently, I finished another video, sarcastically discussing the fact that a genetic disorder is the best possible explanation for the deaths of all of these characters. I'll link both of those videos in the description, but both those videos got me thinking about Padme's death again, and I went back to look at her last bit of dialogue with Anakin. I now believe that we all missed how important this last conversation was, and that it gives us a deeper insight into her character than we realized. Hello everyone, Darth here, and welcome back to another overly analytical video essay. Language is important, and the way Padme's lines are structured is very telling of her mindset. Listen again carefully to the words she uses.
Come away with me. Help me raise our child. Leave everything else behind while we still can. I don't know you anymore. Anakin, you're breaking my heart. You're going down a path I can't follow.
I find this choice of dialogue to be very telling. Come away with me. She doesn't beg him to take her away. She says, you come with me. She is saying she wants to leave all the politics and war behind, and she wants him to come with her. It would have been so easy for the writers to have her say, take me away from all this, where the context changes to him deciding whether or not she'll leave. But as it stands, the line indicates, I am leaving, and I want you to come with me. I know a lot of you are probably confused as to why I'm so fixated on the exact meaning of these lines, but think about their importance. In her mind, she was already preparing for a new life, one where she had to ask her husband to join her knowing he may not. And if she is already mentally preparing for a new life in this scene, why in the next scene would she suddenly lose the will to live? Let's look at her next line, help me raise our child. This line should be interpreted exactly the same way as the first. She is stating what she will do with or without his involvement. Rephrased slightly, she is saying, I am going to raise our child, and I want you to help me. Back-to-back sentences showing that she has not given up the will to live, that she plans to be a mother and leave everything else behind. And finally, despite being utterly heartbroken, despite realizing the man she loves isn't the same person anymore, despite feeling betrayed and lonely and vulnerable, despite all that, she still does not lose the will to live. She says, you're going down a path I cannot follow. I really can't believe I haven't seen anyone talk about this before. This sentence is literally the start of a breakup. She is telling him, I will no longer stay with you if you keep acting this way. Notice she doesn't say anything remotely like, life isn't worth living without you. She doesn't say, if you keep this up, it'll kill me. She says, you're veering off the life path I want to live, and I will not follow you. She is not depressed and suicidal because she somehow caused this to happen. She blatantly says this is happening because of you. Anakin only cares about what he wants, and Padme is too strong a woman to be willing to live with this. We've been so quick to discount all Lucas dialogue as poor, so we never looked deeply enough at this scene. Granted, yes, this could have been randomly thrown together dialogue, and I'm totally inferring meaning that Lucas didn't intend to convey. However, given what we have seen of Padme on screen, this conclusion seems inescapable. Despite a concussion and being choked, despite the stress of giving birth, the medical droids could find no reason for Padme's death. So she didn't die from physical trauma, which they would be easily able to see. After our analysis in this video, we've also shown that Padme was planning to leave Anakin if he didn't change his ways. She was going to raise their child as a single mother. The dialogue confirms this. The only thing that changed between her saying she was going to raise their child and her giving up that desire to raise her child was Anakin roiding out and choking her. And maybe that single action did change her character completely. After all, it's entirely different to be heartbroken that your husband is a different man now, versus the heartbreak when the man you love just literally tried to choke you to death. I'm also not discrediting the notion that one can die from a broken heart, as I do think that's a credible explanation if shown correctly. But given the dialogue in this scene, we still must assume that Padme was planning to raise their child on her own, and that she had not in fact given up the will to live. Now personally, I'm a fan of the explanation of Palpatine killing her, although my theory about the genetic disorder does make the most sense in explaining the other confusing deaths in her lineage. And as we conclude this essay, I want to address one counterpoint that gets brought up a lot in my essay explaining how Padme's character was ruined in Revenge of the Sith. I was astonished by how many comments I got talking about how because she was pregnant, she wasn't able to have as big of a role as she used to. Guys, the Mayo Clinic recommends moderate to intense exercise every day of the week for pregnant women. It's very antiquated medical advice for pregnant women to get plenty of bed rest and stay indoors, and many of you, even possibly Lucas himself, seem stuck in that old mindset. And the only issues I could find with shooting a modern gun while pregnant are the risks of lead poisoning and the loud noise hurting the baby's ears, both of which are dangers that can be mitigated and that don't at all apply to Padme shooting a laser gun that has almost no kickback and produces no significant noise. Physical exertion would not have hurt her nor the baby. Firing a gun would not have hurt her nor the baby. Her pregnancy is not a viable excuse to sideline her character. That is an outdated sexist mentality that is not at all backed by science. All across the world, women continue to work even while pregnant. To stick within the film realm, we see Anne Hathaway was pregnant while filming The Witches. Felicity Jones was actually pregnant for all of her scenes at Midnight Sky. Evangeline Lilly was pregnant while filming Ant-Man. ScarJo was pregnant while filming Ultron. Gal Gadot was 5 months pregnant, was sick and vomiting, had terrible migraines, and was still able to do the reshoots for Wonder Woman. There's probably dozens of other applicable examples, but I'll end with this comment. As a mother, I'm surprised and dismayed by how many commenters here think pregnant women become delicate flowers. Nope, a badass woman becomes double badass. Shouldn't pick up a gun? If it needs to be done, hell yeah. Get out of the way, bad guys. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.